Listeners of the Randomness of Nothing podcast, this is your host, Rashad Woods. I want to give a special shout out to my guest today, H.J. Chammas. And he is a 4-time best-selling author, and he's the founder of Authority Publishing. And he's going to teach people how to build credibility through authority. He's a best-selling author. He's got a lot of insight and tips of how he overcame failure in the publishing world and came out successful from it. Thank you very much, sir.
Hey, Rashad. Hey, guys. First of all, thanks for having me on the show. Let's have fun. Let's really go into those stories because, trust me, in our today's era, everybody has a message they want to share with the world. And the problem is when they want to do that, here comes the confusion. How to do it? Who should I trust? And they start investing money left and right, here and there. And long story short, they lose a lot of investment and they stay where they were if they didn't go backward. And I think it's a very important topic to be talking about.
Isn't it funny how you can travel without moving, right? Like you can actually travel without moving, right? Because you get so many things that are running through your mind and all you see is the end game, but you don't actually see the starting line in front of you.
Exactly.
Thing in the world. And I've fallen into that trap in my podcast. I'm going to be the biggest podcaster in the world. I'm going to get sponsors and all. Like, dude, you got to get an audience. You got to get guests. You got to start from the ground up and do the building blocks to it before you actually even can have. That can be in the back of your mind, but you have to pursue what's in front of you right now and take the wins as they come.
Exactly. And I think it also adds up to finding your big why, which should be bigger than you. It should be about really serving others, about helping others, about making the world a better place. If you found your purpose or your big why, my experience tells me that everything starts to fall into place like pieces of a puzzle, and you're going to be on the right track.
Yeah, and I think, and the beauty about it is I think people overcomplicate things, right? So, there's nothing wrong with just asking a simple question. To your point, my why. Why did you decide to become an author? Why did you decide to help people? What was your purpose in doing so? My why for starting the show, when people ask me why I did a show, I would go on a rambling tangent. They're like, we have a shot, but you never told me your why. I'm like, you know what? Why did I start the show? Because I'm a curious SOB and I like to talk to people who are successful and who have done great things and want to share it with other people in the world.
Beautiful, beautiful.
So let's go right into, what you do when it comes to your author with your Authority Publishing and all the great things you've accomplished.
So basically what we do is we help coaches, experts, consultants. So we know who are we working with, not any kind of authors. Actually, they are experts in their specific niches and their industries. We help them become the thought leader or the authority in what they do so that they monetize their services. And, for those kind of guys, they have high ticket services for their consultancy or coaching services. Yes. What happens here is when they start to show up, be it on social media, be it on LinkedIn, be it online, be it in events, people start to question if they could trust those persons. Are they trustworthy? Are they credible? Et cetera, et cetera. So what we found that publishing a book would help them organize all of their thoughts into those pages. But the most important thing is it will help them position their personal brand to be known what they're expert at. And with that kind of positioning and personal branding, the book becomes like an entry to a larger ecosystem where they could kind of monetize their services. This is in a nutshell how we do it.
Yeah, it's a conduit, right? So it's the platform because, unfortunately, we live in an era where right now a lot of people are attracted by the flashy images on social media, right? Whatever, there's that quick clip that says, it's a get-rich-quick scheme or perceived to be, but people only see the end result. So they picture themselves immediately sitting on that beach, with their feet up, but they don't see if that person has credibility behind them or not, if they really have the accomplishments that they've accomplished or not. You're a very accomplished individual, which is a separate business from your publishing and authorship, business. When somebody decides to say, I'm a trusted advisor in my field and I have the position of authority and want to take the route for publishing, where do you come in?
So basically, I want to go a step backward. People see the end result. People see that this guy or this dude is already where they want to achieve, which is like the future. But what they don't know is that how did that person get there? How did they fail actually? Because trust me, failure would have been it should be the most celebrated in life.
Without question.
Celebrate failure.
Without question.
Yeah. And we think of it in a way that what is the universe trying to teach me here? What's the message there? And we pick our pieces of together and we move forward. we will achieve that. So basically, to go step and to go backward here, before being an author and a publisher, I started as a naive author. Actually, I thought I was going to be the next Robert Kiyosaki in the world. Tell me about that. In 2017, I became financially independent because of real estate. I love real estate. That's my bread and butter. Mm-hmm. So basically, and I wrote a book called The Employee Millionaire. I thought I want to change the world. Mm-hmm. And I wanted the penguin on my book, the logo, because it was not about the big why. It was about me. So I was thinking the wrong way. It was more like I want to show myself and show that I am
the I was great in one field. Right. You were great in one field of work. Then next, I'm going to be great at that. And then you have you're starting to feed the ego a little bit.
Exactly. It was driven by ego in a way. Exactly. Yeah. And what happened here is I failed. I paid $65,000 for a publishing house to get the penguin logo on my book. And it was a big flop. Now, okay, 65K could be for some a lot, could be for others nothing, but still it was a loss. And it's the concept of losing, not winning. So what I've done here, basically, I've studied the whole publishing industry, the whole personal branding, the whole, how could those successful authors or successful consultants, how did they go on that journey? I spent a lot of time and money actually learning all of that until, imagine, I republished the same book that failed.
Beautiful.
Imagine, same one that failed. So it had great content, but it wasn't packaged well.
Correct.
I packaged it the right way. I communicated it the right way. I did the positioning the right way. And imagine a guy from the Middle East living in Dubai, he's Lebanese of origin. His book gets to become a bestseller. And most importantly, he gets called by the media in America. Imagine that guy from Lebanon nobody knows.
Yeah.
To America to appear on major TV channels. And this is what become like slap in the face. Was I lucky? Or was it like I have something here?
Right.
So what happened here, I published 2-3 other books. Actually, the next books outperformed the first one. And this is when I knew I had a system.
Beautiful.
But still, I wasn't called by the universe to help others. Until 2022, somebody on LinkedIn approached me, a lady. She told me, hey, I've seen what you've been doing. I want to become an authority in what I do. Can you help me? So we had to publish the book for free. Yeah. We didn't charge it. And that's my mission, by the way. I help authors for free. We don't make it a business until they ask us if they want to do it for them. Otherwise, we give all the guidance for free because we don't want them to feel like I failed in a way. So imagine now that lady became a TED speaker. She became a consultant for the government in Dubai. She became known and stuff like that.
Unbelievable.
And this is how authority publishing started. Yeah. So I answered your question the long way, but now you understand that when we help those consultants and coaches, we do it out of experience, out of pain, because we don't want them to go through the same pain and we went through. We know the shortcuts. We know what works and what doesn't work. And we're going to give them the journey that will move them to the objectives they want in their career.
I think it's fascinating because people have to understand efficiency is nothing more than people finding out what didn't work multiple times, right? So like you have the system in place to get it right to where you see it, you execute it, you deliver it in a certain amount of time frame. That didn't happen overnight, right? And so like for people who are listening, at whatever stage you're at, it's important that you listen to HJ and what he's saying. You have to be very cognizant that you will only find a system and a process by going through the pain. Whether it's losing 65K, whether it's having a flop on your book, whether it's not getting an audience on your show, there are things, pain points to your point where failure has to happen.
Yes. And I think we learn through trial and error. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think we learn through trial and error. And the thing is, we don't need to keep on losing because if someone else has shared or is sharing their stories and what made them feel and their journeys, we really need to have open eyes, open ears, and open feelings to feel, the journey they went through and learn from them. Because we don't need to reinvent the wheel every time. Learn from the others. We still have to go through our own trials and errors and failures, but they don't have to be big.
Right. That's one of the reasons I made this show is because I think that, if you listen to enough people, and I've listened to enough people, whether they're authors, whether they're coaches, people who have created, dynamic AI agents or technologies, they all have the same message. And that is if you stick with something long enough and you're passionate about it, eventually you'll develop a very good system to make sure that things start to automate, become clearer, or you know exactly what pratfalls to avoid to get the end result that you seek. Now, the fact that you do this for free is absolutely amazing. But I also have to ask you, how long does free last, and how many people decide to then shift towards saying, HJ, I really want to use you long term for something that would help me build my brand long term?
Look, I'm going to answer the question in a way that we want to help everyone for free.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because that's how we could scale. But helping for free doesn't mean I go one-on-one like we're doing now.
Right.
We can give them the courses, the articles,
yes.
the books. Even I give away my books for free. And trust me, I put everything we do in our agency in this content. So that actually, if they listen to it and they follow step by step, they don't need us. But guess what, Rashad?
Yeah.
I don't know why people are either lazy, which I don't think most of them are, but most of the times they tell me, hey, I have more money than time, so I don't have all that time. Can you do that for me? And this is when we tell them, that's fine. We taught you. Now you came to us because actually I'm a very introvert guy. I don't know how to sell. So, and I've realized by helping everyone else, it's the best sales strategy because when they come to you, they're educated, they're prepared, they're in the right mindset.
For sure.
To get your services. So we do that when they ask us, they don't have time, and we do it for them, and this is how we monetize.
Yeah, because it's interesting because usually people, when they're really good people in their field of work and then they see somebody who's successful at something that they want to branch into and you've built up the credibility, they're going to do one or two things. They're going to say, they'll get into the weeds of it. It's kind of like, it's like somebody who wants to get their lawn done. They'll be like, man, do I really, really, really want to spend an entire weekend on my lawn service? They'll do it the first time. And then long term, they're like, you know what? It's better suited for me to work on the other things I'm going to do. I'll outsource my lawn service because of time.
Exactly.
Right. For time constraint purposes, right? So it becomes a time constraint because at the end of the day, there is a finite number of time. And if they are coaching, if they are, pursuing their endeavors, they may not get the result they want because what I've learned is when you give a half-assed effort, you better expect the same result.
Yep. And guess what also, Rashad? For those who still want to do it themselves, because we're going to give them all the tools, all the information, they become the best brand ambassadors ever because we have them move the needle, we have them develop their business for free.
Yeah.
Actually, they are incredible for us clients. So by doing things really for a bigger why, for a purpose, and doing it for free, pays off multiple times than investing on marketing. Guess what? We don't invest in marketing. Right. Zero spent, zero ad spent on social media or digital. Trust me, zero ad spent.
That's amazing. It's all word of mouth, huh?
Word of mouth through the books, through LinkedIn, through sharing content like on articles, through the website, our blogs, appearing on podcasts like this, like yours, and this kind of stuff. Just spreading the word and keep on talking about your passion in a way.
It really is. And, when I first got your bio, and I was reading about it, and for people who do shows, I always get stopped in my tracks when people reach out to me because I'm a guy who was fortunate enough that I get to interview the successful people. I get access into your worlds. I get to pick your guys' brains. I get to write down these nuggets of truth. But you all are so welcoming to share it with other people. What is in the DNA of people who start things and complete things versus people who just dream about them but never act?
From my experience, it could be either they're feeling or escaping something. Like when I first started. When I started in real estate, I was poor, super poor. I left Lebanon, $300 in my pocket. We left to Dubai, new world, and I had to manage. So I didn't want to stay poor. So I wanted to escape a certain reality. So that pushed me that I needed to really keep on doing things and, find my way around until I develop a system or a process to have it successful. The other reason, like in my other business, on the publishing business, it was an aspiration. How can I help more others? How can I help, more authors out there to share their messages, to make an impact in the world? And even whatever failure I went through in the process, because of my big why, I stayed on the course. I just learned, what was working, what wasn't working, and never dropped the towel. I kept on. So it's either fear of something or an aspiration towards something, in my opinion.
It's beautiful. Now, because of the era of social media, automation, and pretty much now anybody, the process has been very democratized. Where how do you, and you made a good bullet point in your PDF file you sent to me, so I can't take credit for this question. How do you stand out in a crowded space? Because there are so many people putting books out. There's so many people putting courses out. There's so many coaches. What makes somebody stand out in a position in this very crowded space, particularly now with social media?
Yeah. So let's start with the books and then we go to the social media, because on the social media stuff, I have a lot of question marks myself, but let's
Yes.
go backward. Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, the number one mistake I always see in authors who don't make it is they're writing about something which they know the best about, and they never write about what their target reader or target audience wants to learn about. And that's a big difference. The sweet spot is you write about what they want to learn about, and you're an expert in that. If you find that sweet spot, you're offering solutions to real problems, and not just echo and noise in the word in a way.
Right. That's powerful. That's powerful.
Yeah. So how do we do that? We do that before publishing is by researching the target audience. Now, because you mentioned also digital media and stuff, with the use of tools and AI, researching target audiences is super easy nowadays. You could do SEO search, Amazon search, AI searches, and you could understand what is the target audience looking for. Because when they go to any search engine, and Amazon is a search engine, as we know, they type in certain phrases. If you get the data, bingo, you know what they want, what they're looking for. And then you start the writing process. So it's not like I wrote a book and let's market it. No. When you write a book for an audience that you understand what they want, you already set the book up for success before you publish it.
That's beautiful.
And then and that's the publish phase. Now on the promote phase, we're gonna go into the social media stuff. What most authors do is, number two mistake is, trust me, man, they go on a on social media, and that's my book and my book and my book. Trust me, man. They both, and I used to be like that. When I first published my book that failed. I used to bore people, my book and my book. Oh man, come on. I was stupid. Anyway, what people care about, and actually they're tuning to only one FM station, which is WII FM station. What's in it for me?
Okay.
If you answer, if you're offering them value, offering them solutions to real problems, they're gonna answer what's in it for me, and then you have their attention. So what I tell authors when they promote their books, don't promote the book yet. Promote yourself as an authority, as a personal brand. By offering solutions, become known for something, you stand out for something, and then you start promoting the book. And the more your book sells, the more it's going to promote you as a personal brand. And how you promote yourself as a personal brand? By appearing on podcasts, by writing a book, by writing blogs, articles, so on and so forth, and not social media. Social media in the nonfiction world, I believe the best is LinkedIn, because LinkedIn offers a platform for nonfiction authors, for experts, consultants, and coaches to add value, to share with the world what they know about.
Right.
So when you publish and you promote, and then you need to monetize, because if you don't monetize, guess what? You cannot sustain all of that. The whole thing will crumble, man. It's like a tripod. Promote, monetize. And monetization is not royalties. Monetization is selling your high ticket services, and the book becomes like the business card that sold you and like positioned you for what you're known for.
You're the coach, and then the book is the complementary tool of your coaching or of your level of expertise, right? This is just it's an addition to what I'm giving you. So, you get to do your course, your learning, your expertise, and your insight. And oh, by the way, if you want to make sure you have these nuggets of truth after this has been given to you, here's the book on top of that, so you can study it and continue to learn.
Exactly. Don't make the book the product. A lot of authors, they make their book the product and not their services the product. And there's a big difference here.
Yeah, that's really fascinating, because now that, it's funny, because that's actually staring me in the face of, to do that when it comes to, it makes so much sense, but I can see how people are so happy to have their name on a piece of paper, and the average person, like, what the heck does that do for me, man? I'm not going home. It's going to sit on my shelf for 6 months and I'm never going to read it. But then if I gave you a value add, and then, and said, this is why I wrote this book, because of all these different tools that you can use, and then my course gave you a path to success, now you're more intrigued to buy the book.
Exactly.
That's amazing. It's, and again, I think sometimes people overcomplicate things. Now, since you are word of mouth to mouth, it's a large referral system, I'm imagining. So you probably get one person that you help, then it goes to another, then it goes to another, and then they're just recommending you worldwide because you obviously have a worldwide presence too.
Yeah, sorry, you were cut. So you were telling me about,
You
because
obviously
you were
work
cut.
you obviously work,
Yeah.
work word of mouth because you have such a worldwide presence. So you work a lot on referral
That's
systems.
one of our media channels, word of mouth. Actually, what we do basically, two things. We do outreach and inbound. As simple as that. For the outreach, the way we do it is we have on LinkedIn our team, because we within our organization, our team, and they reach out to authors or to coaches or consultants by educating them how their message could make an impact in the world. And we just have a conversation. It's not about promising them anything. It's just about adding value, clarifying things. So that's one approach we do. And this is basically, it's also free. There are no ads here. It's only having conversations with potential authors, which are currently leads. The second one, actually for inbound, it's great. And actually they work together. So imagine now I reached out to you, or one of my team members reached out to you, and you started to research us. When you search us, you're going to find a blog, a newsletter, a podcast, a book, and whatever. And maybe you grab or you consume one of those content. Maybe you found me on a podcast episode, you're going to listen to what I've said. Or maybe you're going to grab my book, you're gonna read about what we believe in and our system and how we're going to help you, etc., etc. So what happens here, through those inbound marketing, we offer the listeners or the audience an opportunity to connect with us, to have a conversation with us. And once they do that, after they consume your content, when they jump on a call with you, it's not anymore a cold conversation, because when they come to you, they already gave you enough time to read your book or listen to the episode or whatever. It's going to be a warm conversation. They're not going to challenge you and tell me why and this and prove to me. No, it's going to be, how can you help me? I've already
I'm a convert.
Now, how can you help me in a way?
Exactly. And I think that by having that back legwork, and LinkedIn in that powerful tool, because you also have to know your space and your audience, right? So like LinkedIn is the audience you're seeking, not necessarily, and I'm not bashing it, TikTok, right? There's a certain audience that you're geared towards based on your services, based upon the message that you're sending out. And you're going to get those consultants, professionals in that space as opposed to a different social media. So it's also knowing your audience as well, too. I found LinkedIn very receptive to my podcast because it's about entrepreneurship, business, and technology and things of that nature. So I think that's very, very good space that you've carved yourself into. And more importantly, you'll find out real quick people who are interested versus people who are not, right? Obviously, LinkedIn has its issues, but for the most part, you're going to get a very solid transaction that takes place when it comes to a conversation, an initial, introductory phase, so to speak.
Exactly. And it's all about whenever we share content on those platforms, it should be about them.
Yes.
If we understand the pain point, the inspiration, and we write about those, we're going to have ears and we're going to have eyes to our content. But if we're going to talk about ourselves and we're going to appear salesy and we're going to sell you something, trust me, they're going to go out of the, okay, let's avoid that guy and let's maybe block him or whatever. Yeah.
It does. And that's why you have to position yourself. This is what I've kind of figured out, and I'm not an expert by any stretch of the imagination. You have to give something people they want, something they need, or you have to give them something that they didn't know they wanted or needed. Right. And, and it has to be in a non-sales pitch kind of a way, right? Just say, listen, for those who are seeking this is this avenue to do so. Right. And so, in my little world of podcasting, I've kind of like somewhat carved up that space, nowhere near to your level. But I think that when you come from an honest and pure place, you can get good results. Obviously, your time is very, very valuable, and I'm very appreciative for all of your knowledge that you've bestowed upon this episode. Where can people find H.J. Chammas?
So basically, you could find me on our website, Authority Publishing, so authority-publishing. And you could check me on LinkedIn at H.J. Chammas. So if you look at H.J. Chammas, you will find me there. I really always post articles, although I'm not very active in posting, but I'm very active in commenting and engaging with other people there. So, and also I would like to offer the audience a free copy of my book, which could be found on our website, Authority Publishing, authority-publishing.com/book-ppm. I shared with you the link if you could put it as well.
Of course.
It's a great tool to help the audience if they ever decided to build a personal brand, publish their book without the need of someone like me. They follow the steps in the book,
Yeah.
and they're gonna hit every single step if they
Yeah.
have the time to do it.
Listen, I think particularly in this world, we've all read about how, the consequences of what these companies are doing because of the automation. So people are looking for solutions. And I think the best time to build your personal brand and authority is right now, just because of the circumstances in the world that we're living in. So if there was ever an opportunity to reach out to H.J. Chammas and the sources that he has and the nuggets of success, I think it's very important to listen to what this man has to say because, we're all getting older, and I think that we all owe it to ourselves to push ourselves to the best skill set possible and positioning ourselves as voices of authority in our respective fields.
Thank you, Rashad, and that was a lot of fun having that conversation with you.
Man.
Thanks for having me. Really, I enjoyed the whole conversation. And
I was looking forward to this one, man. Like I said, I always get nervous and butterflies in my stomach because I always want the guest to have a great experience, and I'm very appreciative.
Really, really wonderful. Really enjoyed it.
Thanks, brother, and all the best continued success. H.J. Chammas on the Randomness of Nothing podcast. If you love this episode, please hit subscribe. There's more to come. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.